Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where today I am doing my fourth look just this week using the Muse palette from Cosmic Brushes. I have a series on my channel where I do an entire week of uploads using only one palette. That playlist is linked below along with my Cosmic Brushes playlist. If you want to see how I did this eyeshadow look, you just have to stick around. And if you've never been here before, hello, my name is Rachel. I like to play with colorful eyeshadow and I upload several videos every week. I particularly want to use these two colors right here. This is often how I build a look. I'll just figure out the colors which have jumped out to me on that day, and then I'll figure out how to connect them together, especially if they're very different. So today I want to use these two shades right here. I'm not completely convinced that this is going to work with my shirt, but I know this one will. But that's what I want to play with today, is those two colors. So from there I have to decide how I want to build out the look. So I'm going to need something to deepen it up, of course. That would tie in better to my shirt because it's more muted and my shirt is a little bit softer, less bright than this. So that would tone it down a little bit. That might be a good option. This would definitely work with my shirt. This one would work with my shirt as well. But then I'm moving away from the green and I don't know that I want to do that. Now, pairing either of these with this is going to make this one a lot less green. Do you see what I mean? So I'm going to prime my eyes. I'll use the Glamlight Icing Primer, and everything that I'm using is down below in the description box. And I'm going to think this through and decide what to do. Of course, there's always the consideration that maybe I don't necessarily want to match my shirt. But I think today, I kind of want to go with it. I don't necessarily want to clash with it. So I am going to start with a medium blending brush and pick up the shade Water Lily. And because this is one of the shades that I really want to be a focal point of the look, I'm just going to fill my crease with this color. I do hope you guys have been enjoying this week of Muse. I really went back and forth on whether or not to get this palette, but I'm glad that I did because I knew that I liked the formula and the color story was really just soft and muted, but still colorful, you know, not too neutral. Very, very pretty, just very pretty. And I felt that it would fill a gap in my collection as far as giving me those mauvey, rosy kinds of tones without being boring and without the entire palette being rose and mauve, because we've got a lot of diversity within this color story and I just like it. I'm very much enjoying it. I know that this has been a whole week of Muse, but I look forward to pairing Muse with Serenity and seeing what kinds of pretty looks I can come up with using those two palettes together. I've whipped this color along my lower lash line as well. It's so interesting because this color looks a little bit different on my skin than it does in the pan. That's because of my skin undertones. My undertones are blue and they are working with this green to really pull out a lot of the yellow, which I wasn't fully expecting, but I probably should have, given the fact that looking in the pan, I can see, you know what? I guess that's not terribly different from what's in the pan. Maybe it's just a matter of my lighting. I have early morning lighting as usual, fortunately, because I was able to grab some time right as my husband walked out the door for work. I'm not fighting with the sun right now, and the little ones are still sleeping. Anyway, I guess it does look pretty similar to what's in the pan. It's just, again, you have to work with your undertones. You know, my skin undertones are making this green have a bit of a yellowy hint just because of the formulation, the colors that they put into the formula for this shade. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I think it's pretty. And now is the big question, what do I use to deepen it up? I think I'm going to use Fig. The reason I'm choosing Fig is instead of Rosewood is because Fig is more of a deep burgundy. I think there's a bit of purple undertone in there, whereas Rosewood is more warm with a lot more of a reddish brown undertone. And while they would both in their own right work with my shirt, I think that Fig is going to work better with this color to keep it a little bit more cool, whereas Rosewood would warm it up a lot. And I think I want to go with cool. I don't know. Is this helping you at all? Telling you how I think through my looks? I am to the point where I just like to choose, you know, the one or two colors that are jumping out to me in that day, and then figure out a way to work them together. I think that's really fun, and it gives me a challenge. So not only is my eyeshadow a creative expression, but it's also a little bit of a challenge to say, okay, well, these two don't work. How can I meet them in the middle? Okay, now there's obviously a big disparity between these two shadows. So I'm taking the same brush that I just used to lay it down. That, by the way, was a Blend Bunny B1. And I'm just working in little concentric circles on the edge of the fig shadow to soften and soften and soften. I'm happy with how that has blended out. I've just been working really, really softly as I've shown you. I'm going back into Water Lily, which is the green, of course, and I'm now hitting the edges of the fig and using the color that I laid the fig on top of to blend out fig. Well, I know that this might not be perfect, and in the light of day, I might see some harsh lines, but this is where I'm going to leave it because I do have a bit of time constraint with the sunlight and the children. I'm going to grab a flat brush, and now is the other shadow that I explicitly wanted to use, the Muse shade. I will load up my brush and then spray it. Muse, I'm going to lay down starting, I'll start it in the middle. I like to do that when I've got two shadows. Like I said, I want to work with these two colors, so I'm going to start Muse right in the middle. If there's too much of a gap between Muse and now the outer depth, then I'll pick another shadow to bring them together a bit more, bring them closer. And if the shadow that I want to use is not light enough for my inner corner, then placing it down on the center gives me the flexibility to put something else on the inner corner. And because I've got this hood that's slowly dropping down, I'm going to look straight, excuse the mirror, I'm going to look straight and make sure that I paint up a little bit on top of that hood so that when I'm looking, you can still see the shimmer and it's not as concealed as it might be otherwise. I think just for fun, I'm going to take Luster on this same flat brush. I'm grabbing Luster and I'll put this on my inner corner and the inner corner of the lid, like the inner third, and also I think I might wrap it down onto the lower lash line. So again, loading the brush and then spraying it. Remember, Luster has a lot of pink in it. I accidentally used this in one of my previous looks, you may recall, and then I was madly trying to edit the video to show the mistake that I had made so that you guys wouldn't be confused. Luster has a lot of pink, so it's going to bring a different kind of feeling to this look. All right, I'm wiping off this flat brush and just tapping Luster a little bit into the Muse shade, and then I'm going back into Muse and tapping it a little bit into the Luster shade to work them together a little more smoothly. They are the same formula, so it should be easy to just, merge them rather seamlessly. And then I'll take the side of this flat brush into Muse and put that on the lower lash line in the center. I just really love the peachy gold that it brings in. That's why I wanted to use this Muse shade, because it's such a beautiful peachy gold sort of shimmer. And I have used it once or twice in the earlier looks this week, but just a little bit. I wanted it to be more of a focal point in today's look. Okay, now my final thought is, do I want to leave it as is, or do I want to bring in one more shadow to bridge the gap between this Muse shimmer and the depth of the outer corner? I do have a few options. One obvious option is the patina shade, because that would keep more green in the look or bring in some more green. This one is too light. I could use more of a mauvey purpley shimmer such as Antique or Ambient over here. You know what? I just realized I haven't touched these two purples the entire week, actually at all. I've never used those colors, have I? I might have used Whisper once in a previous look. I see a finger mark in Whisper, so I may have used it before, but not this week. Anyway, here's Antique and here is Ambient. Oh, okay. So Ambient is closer to what I'm thinking. I mean, they're both pretty, right? But Antique is pretty close to what I've already got, because it does have a lighter base, a little bit more of a peachy kind of shine. Antique is more like a rose gold. And then Ambient is that more standard brown to purple duochrome. And that would help bridge the gap a little bit. So let's do that. Let's just tap, making sure I've got the right one this time. This is Ambient. I'm just tapping Ambient right on this line. And I don't want it to be a focal point in the look. So I'm tapping it, and yes, that has bridged the gap a little bit better between the two shadows. Back into my Blend Bunny brush with no additional product and hitting the edge, working it all together, and that is the look. All said and done, let me show you and tell you what I did to finish off. In my waterline, I used a ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Fluffy. I did not do any other eyeliner, no wing, no upper lashes, nothing like that, but I did put on some mascara. That's it for the eyes, honestly. On my face, I have the Tulum palette from BH Cosmetics, and then I have this shadow from Nomad. This is a highlighter. It's called Positano Sunrise. This highlighter, along with the Kofana Moonlight, those are available secondhand, just like everything from this collection, in a set of 4 with 2 other highlighters. And if you're interested in them, they're really, 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 really pretty, and they're a nice soft formula. I hope you can see that in my lighting. They're just really lovely highlighters, honestly. And I don't have, again, a huge wealth of experience, but based on what I do know, I think they're really pretty, and they bring in some beautiful colors. I have the 2, so I don't feel like I want to buy the quad, but if you are interested, check it out on the secondhand apps, because there is a quad with this highlighter and the purple blue one that I have, and then 2 more. And then on my lips, I'm wearing NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Cinnamon Roll. That's the whole look. You'll have to tell me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have enjoyed this week of Muse. I've had a lot of fun playing with this palette, seeing what it can do, playing with its versatility and the shadows and the formulas. It's just a really beautiful palette. Let me know if you have this palette, or if you've picked up their Delicious Delights, or if you're just sitting and loving Serenity, or, you know, none at all. There are lots of beautiful eyeshadow palettes on the market, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's just fun to play with what you've got and maybe not be swept up in all the hype of new things. But I think that this look is really lovely, and I hope you enjoy it too. Do let me know in the comments what you think. Remember to check the description box for the first 3 looks this week, and my week of playlist, and my Cosmic Brushes playlist. There's a bunch of other information in there as well, and I will see you guys again in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye!